worked.
Yes.
First time ever, huh?
Ah, first one.
First one. My very first live at Matty Nagel. My very first live,
Ah,
full stop. How
cool.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh God, yeah, coping, yeah.
Yeah. Your back wall is much nicer than mine. What do you got hanging up there?
This is my studio. Yeah, this is
Okay,
my
cool.
Gail style studio. So it's handy to have this from home. So I'm kept busy. I'm kept busy.
Yes.
Thank God. Thank God. And
Is
you're
that where
keeping a
you're
nation busy as well.
trying to? Trying
Yeah,
to. Mostly
good man.
myself.
Yeah, good man. Good
Yeah.
man. No, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's just about trying to keep everybody kind of positive and watch our mental health this week, particularly. Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's
for
this week
sure.
that we're going to notice a big difference, and it's just a bit frightening. I suppose that's my biggest concern, and why I started the challenge last week myself. It was just to kind of help people and their own little mental health and their own heads. You know, everybody's in a different situation though, a bit like yourself. Like, you know, it's you have kids, do you, Matty?
My girlfriend has two.
You oh, so you have a
Yeah.
full house
So
like as
I
well, and that's
do.
hard.
Yeah.
What age are
Yeah.
they?
They're 9 and 5, 4 or 5. Yeah. So
Whoa.
a handful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I have a 20-year-old and a 15 year
Okay.
old, and I can tell you they're hard work too. I can tell you.
In a
And
different
my
way.
20-year-old's girlfriend has moved in with us, so that's
Okay.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun. Yes,
I'll
I
take the
couldn't be a
9 and the 5.
grandmother after this, I can tell you. Oh Jesus God,
Yeah.
I don't even
Don't
want to
know
think
what.
about that. Oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about you.
Are we? Yes.
Tell me, is this the studio where you do your Instagram? You did an Instagram TV, like a workshop or a masterclass.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
that
yeah.
that was
Well, that
upstairs?
was my bedroom. I'm lucky
Oh,
enough
cool.
to have a very big bedroom in the top part
It's
of the house.
spacious, yeah.
Yeah, I moved from Dublin down here to the bigger house, and yeah, my bedroom is the whole top floor of the house. So yeah, it's great to have that space. Yeah, but I miss Dublin. I do miss Dublin a bit now, to be honest with you. You're Dub as well, aren't you?
No, I'm from Kildare.
You're from Kildare.
Yeah, yeah. I do
There
some
you
work
go.
in Tala. Darren's gym. You met Darren, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
from Kildare.
You have an
Yeah,
American twang, though, haven't you?
I do. I spent 6 years in Florida, so
And so many of my followers have said he's got an American accent,
yeah, 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 big time.
hasn't he?
Can't shake it off, but I'm not too upset to not have like a Newbridge accent. I'm
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Newbridge, but
Yeah,
if
yeah.
anyone else said that, I'd murder them. But like I can say, um,
Yeah.
dive in, Gail. How did Gails Rails begin? Because it's been like, has it been 4 years? Was it 2016 or 2015?
Yeah, 2016. Yeah, I started in July 2016, but I was an image consultant many years before that. But business was very, very slow. And I was a dressmaker initially. So I was a dressmaker here at the side of my house in a chalet. Very lonely old job now, I have to say. I wasn't a big lover of it now at all. But I love fabric. I was never very academic in school, but fabric was my life. My grandmother taught me how to knit and sew, and it was she taught me everything I know. I failed my leaving cert, but I went on to make my Deb's dress. So I knew that fabric was definitely something that I was going to do. Yeah, I made my Deb's dress from scratch. So
Wow.
yeah, a fabulous masterpiece, I have to say. I don't even know where it is now because Mum and Dad moved out of Temple Oak, and God, the dress went with us. But no, it was going a long time before the actual blog started, and that's why I kind of say I'm a fashion guider, not influencer. I was dragged into the influencer world, but my main business is image consultancy and fashion blogging and columnist and anything to do with fashion, basically. But I had my son very young, and I got pregnant, and kind of everything went on hold. And then I was self-taught by my grandmother how to knit and sew. So I went on and got my diploma in dressmaking when he was very young. And then I got pregnant on my daughter. But I was in the motor trade for most of those years, to be honest with you,
Oh,
as a receptionist, a service receptionist. So hence why the whole the motor mechanics is in my blood as well.
yeah,
Working with crossings in Nace is just kind of come second nature to me, because it's just, that was my second life, and my father's a motor mechanic and so is my brother. So they're still running in Ranelagh, and yeah, so that's another big part of my life. But yes, fabric was always my love. And even when the kids were younger, I'd be tweaking clothes and fixing things and taking sleeves off stuff and things like that. But dressmaking then was Crafty Couture. That was the name of my company back then, and it was just so lonely. People would drop stuff off in the morning and I'd be in front of a machine, and then I would start doing embroidery. I did embroidery, a good bit of embroidery actually for the likes of Musgraves and things like that, and it was just such a lonely job. So I said, right, I need to put all of these qualifications and try find something that's going to work for me. And I knew that I was definitely a people person. I loved working with people. So I started Gails Rails, and went on and did my advanced diploma in image consultancy. And well, the rest is kind of history, really. Like I said, business was really slow. It's hard to get an image consultancy business up off the ground because it's kind of it's a specialized thing, really, you know, and a lot of people feel like, oh, personal stylist is only for celebrities or whatever, but it's quite coming the norm now, and people don't want to be making hasty decisions when they're choosing what clothes to wear and that. So they're actually saving money in the long run when they're getting the training. So when I started the blog, it was literally just to promote my business. Like anything, like yourself, you have a fitness company, you try promote your own business and your brand. And it escalated and escalated and escalated. And very proud to say I have over 70,000 followers now on the different platforms. And I think the women of Ireland trust me. Well, I hope they trust me. They do. I've been through a lot, and I'm 43 years of age this year. And I think when you've actually experienced life and, you know, been through the labour ward, and I was suffering massively with depression in 2011, 2012, and severe anxiety. And I just didn't like myself. I was very, very low. And it took me a good 1.5 to 2 years to come out of that. But I had all of these amazing skills and qualifications, but I was missing the most important ingredient, and that was self-belief. And without self-belief or self-confidence, nothing's going to work for you. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in your product. So I went and tried to get my life back on track. Medication helped, and I got my help where I needed to get help. And I speak about mental health awareness quite openly on the blog, and try help women as much as I can, because the blog is definitely a go-to page for people where if they are feeling a bit low or whatever, that the power of an outfit is just unbelievable. And that's why the capsule wardrobe and the Gails Rails challenge last week, I think, was a massive hit, because for the first time ever, people were feeling, just trapped. They just had a lot to be dealing with that has never happened in our lifetime before. And people were finding themselves getting very mopey and around the house. And you know yourself, if you spend all days in a dressing gown or something like that, it is going to bring your demeanor down an awful lot. Yeah. So that's why I said, right, I've been there. I know what it's like. It's the days that I didn't get dressed and stayed in my gym jams all day long they were my bad days. The days that I made an effort, got up, got dressed, it made a huge difference to my mental well-being. And that's why the challenge, I think, was such a success last week. We've 980, I think, in the end, 980 participants. So I had a serious amount of photographs to go through, I can tell you. It was so hard to pick a winner because everybody deserved it, to be honest. But I think, putting aside this prize, I think everybody just didn't care about the prize. It was just the fact that it was getting them to get up and do something. And all of these pieces are in their wardrobe, you know. So I'm a big firm believer in capsule wardrobe and, you know, good, simple capsule pieces, you know. It's very easy to always have something to wear if people stop overthinking fashion. And that's my ethos. I try to simplify fashion for the busy women of today. And yeah, so that is pretty much my story in a nutshell.
Cool. It's just a couple of things at the start. You said about doing that job, image consulting, or like fixing dresses and stuff like that on your own. And in the time I've known you, like you said, you're such a people person. I just can't imagine you doing that job where you're like sitting there and there's no one to talk to. I'm like, no, I can't imagine that. Like, because you're such a...
it was tough. I think it probably threw me into depression, to be honest with you, like not having interaction. And then as soon as you leave the chalet and you come in here, then you're a mammy, you know, and then there's homework and there's dinners. And I just didn't, I don't know, I knew there was something inside that I desperately wanted to do. And it was to help people, a bit like yourself, you know, you just feel like you were put here just to help, I just never ever, I knew how to fix myself, but until you've been physically through that, it's very hard for you to understand people and understand people's situations and circumstances. And well, my dressing rooms are very, very sad places at times, I can tell you. And it's a very private place. And I've had to go and get a little bit of help when it came to my own, you know, bringing stuff home. When, you know, a client might open up to me or something and, you know, tell me things that would be quite heavy. And I'm not trained in psychology or anything like that. And I'd be kind of very sympathetic and understanding, and people would feel like they could open up to me or whatever. But it's just very, I have to be very careful of my own self as well, and just to make sure that that doesn't affect me. You know, it's kind of very hard to explain. It's a deep job, and but I do know that all of my clients, and well, 99% of my clients are all repeat clients, so they do trust me, you know. So it's kind of like, you know, the Gails Rails experience, you know, I kind of make people feel better about themselves. And that's what's important, is just making sure a woman kind of, there's a lot of pressures on women, Matty.
Absolutely. And
everything falls at the woman's feet, I can tell you. So it's,
they run the world. That's what the song says. Anyway, that's right.
Yeah, they do.
I actually talked to a counselor, not a girl who follows me on here. And she was telling me that, I didn't know this before she told me, that every counselor has to see a counselor for that reason, similar to yourself, where like you might take people's issues on. So that actually makes a lot of sense. And I think part of the thing you mentioned about people trusting you and having such a loyal following is that you weren't afraid to speak about your own issues, and like there's no bullshit. I think that's why when we first connected, it was like we were both doing, say, similar things in different industries, where like I just kind of call it how I see it, and you're exactly the same. You speak openly about like the highs and the lows and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely why they trust you.
It's real life, Matty. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, like I'm 43 this year. I've lived it. I've been married twice. I've had 2 kids, and you know, like it's just life experiences. And you know, none of us have this perfect Instagram life at all, I can tell you. And there is tough times, but it's just trying to keep it as real as possible and just try to be yourself. And there's no point in trying to be somebody else. Everybody else is taken, so you might as well be yourself. And that's just been the approach I've taken all along. Even with working with brands, I'm very transparent. I kind of say, look, no, you know, I refuse so many different brands on a weekly basis, because I see myself as the brand rather than me working for other brands. And it's kind of trying to keep that happy medium. Like if there is physically something that I feel is like really good buy or whatever, I will promote it. But 99% of the time I'm not getting paid. I'm just there as the Gails Rails help page rather than a digital influencer. So I'm blessed in that sense that I don't rely on brands to pay me. I have my own business, and thankfully I'm an influencer whose business is the blog as such, whereas a lot of other people might be school teachers and bloggers or whatever, whereas my whole world is fashion and self-esteem building and helping women on a daily basis. It just goes hand in hand. But I think for you to get the respect that you need, I think you need to be involved in it 125%. Like you do. You need to be living and breathing it, you know, to understand the industry you're working in. Yeah.
And you mentioned the blog. What made you start a blog as opposed to like video or something? Did you like writing, or it was just kind of the fashion world? That's the way it was at the time.
I'm dyslexic. So it kind of is a bit strange. Yes, I'm dyslexic, as are both of my children dyslexic. So they were challenges that I had to be faced with. But my industry is very much visual. And even though I was dyslexic, it never got in my way of my passion. So even though there was all of these kind of, you know, unfortunately problems that I had to be faced with when it comes to writing and things like that, and making spelling mistakes or whatever, it was stepping me out of my comfort zone as well. And it was a case of like, you know, you need to get your message across. So just be real, just be true. If you make a simple spelling mistake, it doesn't matter. You just want to try and get the message across as best you can. Initially it was only Facebook, and then I started the Instagram quite soon after that, to be honest with you. It was probably about 4 or 5 months after that. But it was the Insta stories that I think has kind of really helped me from a point of view of trying to get the message across, and people then knowing me. So there's a face behind the brand, you know, and there's a voice behind the brand. And when you have a story, people, Irish people particularly, love a real story about a brand. And I think I've got a nice story, to be honest with you, because I
Yeah.
have been faced with my challenges, and there has been points where I was kind of going like, oh Jesus, like where am I at? Because I was all over the place, and you know, I didn't really know where I was, and I didn't like myself up until the age of 35. I didn't find myself attractive. I didn't find myself, you know, in any way intelligent to be able to take on something like this. And I said, sure, stop. Like, Jesus, you're coming up on your mid-30s and you've done nothing with your life. Like, okay, well, sorry, I was a mother. But when it comes to something for yourself, I was trying to find it. I was desperate to find something that was just going to work for me. And this has just been, it's literally been the best 4 years ever. Like, it has been incredible, but it's the followers and it's the interaction that I get has blown me away. It really has. But I think people just see me as the girl next door, and they just understand a lot of what I speak about. They understand and they get, and the issues that we have and the problems that we have, and just about not beating ourselves up, basically. And my shows are very much based around that, and women, empowering women, and you know, making sure that it's an upbeat show and that. So I try to hold them maybe once or twice a year. I was due to have mine in 2 weeks' time in the West Grove Hotel, but that's been pushed out in November. So we're going to go with the whole Christmas vibe thing. But to be honest, I don't even know if I was ready for that in 2 weeks' time. Like, I was told by my doctor that I'd burn out literally about 2 weeks before lockdown. And to be honest, I'm really kind of liking the slow life right now at the moment. It's given me an opportunity to kind of think for myself and just stop, because we are living in such a rat race, and we're living in a kind of time where we just have to be seen to be productive and doing something the whole time. Sometimes, you know, you're just terrible hard on yourself, and you just have to kind of say, no, just stop, just stop. It's very hard in my industry now, I have to say, to just stop, because you feel like, oh, there's somebody else coming up behind me, or, you know, somebody else is going to get this or whatever. Like, you just kind of have to say, no, you know, if your body's speaking to you, listen to it, listen to it. And I wasn't listening to my body, to be honest with you. And it's not the first time, to be honest. It's not the first time. Last year as well, I ended up in hospital with a really bad kidney infection because I didn't do anything about cystitis, and I was just self-medicating and just kept going and kept going and kept going, ibuprofen, and kept going, and ended up in hospital. Like, so you do have to just stop and mind yourself, you know. I'm blessed that my children are 15 and 20, and it gives me this little bit of space and time to focus on myself and that, you know, because I was a stay-at-home mom for 15 years, you know, and got them through. And Rory being dyslexic, that was tough, trying to get him through Leaving Cert and Junior Cert. Emma is meant to be sitting her Junior Cert. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but yeah, it is. It was tough. You had to be there 100% for them. So now it's my turn, Matty, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But like, even you having started that blog is a great example for them in terms of sitting exams or doing something and like pushing, like not letting that hold you back.
Dyslexia doesn't stop anybody. Everybody has their path in life, and everybody has some sort of niche or gift in life. And my son, he's severely dyslexic. He did LCA for his Leaving Cert, and it was the best thing he ever did. It was like, the way they do that class is just unbelievable. It's not compulsory now in every school, but it is absolutely brilliant the way they do it. And it's a case of they teach you, you know, life skills, stuff that you need going out into the big bad world, you know. But he's an extremely talented motor mechanic. He's working for Land Rover Ireland now, and he's seriously, you know, I never worry about my kids. I always know they'll find their path some way. Do you know what I mean? There was never any serious pressure academically here in the house. But yeah, and he's a lazy little so, you know, typical. But my daughter now would buy and sell him. She's incredible now. She is unbelievable. And she's actually quite getting a bit upset now by the whole no school thing because of the exams and that. But that's just her makeup. She's just generally a little bit tougher on herself, you know.
Yeah, I think this week in particular, like you were saying, like this week and next week, it's starting to get more real. Where like
novelty's wearing off, Matty, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
I think.
That's why I kind of set up a separate challenge this week, and I just want to kind of try keep people as focused as they possibly can. Next week I have something else in mind. I'm working with a couple of big brands that I've worked with who've been good to Gails Rails. I'm trying to help other companies out, Irish companies, and that we all need to help each other in this time of need. But also, to be honest, it's actually keeping my little head, you know, right as well. You know, I'm a doer. I like to kind of keep going at stuff, and, you know, just, I get terrible down if I'm not at something, you know. So I'm lucky that I have the studio here, and at the moment I am in the process of trying to set up a virtual style studio, because going forward we need to look digitally, like, as to what we need to do for our business. And if anything else ever happened like this again, that it's not going to throw us completely, you know, because for the first 2 weeks I didn't know what to do. I a bit like yourself, like, what do we talk about? Fitness? Do we talk about clothes? Like, how can we talk about this sort of stuff? Like, you know what I mean? It's so not important. Now, fitness is always important, but my business, no. I didn't know where I was at. I didn't know what people wanted. So I put out a poll and I said, like, what do you want me to do? Like, and they just said, just be you. Just do what you're always doing. Help us get our mind off this. We don't always want to be turning on and listening to coronavirus. There's enough of it going on. And then I kind of said, right, okay, well, I can't just sit back and let this kill my business. I have to just keep going and keep my mind occupied and keep my own mental health right, because I don't want to go back there again. I never want to go back there. And that's most important to me. And if I can help anybody else out there to stop them from going under, even if it is a bloody bit of lipstick or a denim shirt or whatever to make you feel better about ourselves, I'll bloody do it, like, you know, I really will. My followers are very loyal followers, and I try to give back as much as I possibly can, not monetary wise, a bit like yourself. You give back a little bit, and you know, those acts of kindness come back at you tenfold. You know, I do believe that. I do believe that. There's no affiliated posts on this blog, I can tell you.
So let's dive into the challenge, actually. So how did you come up with that idea? Because like almost 1,000 people is ridiculous. That's amazing.
And more actually participated. They just didn't submit their photographs. So I was getting messages, hundreds and hundreds of messages a day saying, look, I'm not a big photograph person. I'm just letting you know that I'm taking part. It's really keeping me upbeat. It's really helping me. So I would say probably maybe 2,000 people was the closer to it. It was amazing. And the enthusiasm was just unbelievable. But originally the why I started it was because I found myself being very, very low and just not knowing where I was or what I was at, and kind of going, and then starting to stay in gym jams. And I said, stop, Jesus, like, this is so bad for you, like, this is not good for you. And I said, right, okay, I'm going to put my thinking cap on. There's one thing that always worked for me when I was going through depression, and that was getting dressed, just getting up and getting dressed. And it did help me massively, and they were my good days. So I said, right, let's do a challenge. So I gave everybody inspirational looks the night before. I was a day ahead of everybody. And then I was able to show my outfit of the day for the next day. And it was definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, a piece that people would have in their wardrobes. But even if it wasn't, they were so good at just thinking outside the block. So if somebody didn't have a blue denim shirt, they were going into their husband's wardrobe and picking out a blue shirt and tying a knot in the front of it. Like, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It really was. It was fantastic. One of the best things I've ever done on the blog, to be honest.
Cool. Yeah. And did you find like that helped even you? Like, aside from all the women, it obviously helped, but you having to do that daily, did that help you in your house even?
I was accountable. So yes, absolutely. I had to make sure I did my blog post. I had to be up. I had to make sure the makeup was done. And every day I have been trying to get up and just do that, because it's so easy just to sit in the bed and play on your laptop, especially when your kids don't get out of bed till 2 o'clock every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just kind of going, oh, here, like, what's there to get up for? And there's only so much housework and decorating you can do, I can tell you. But yeah, it is too easy at the moment just to sit in your gym jams or something. But you do, your whole demeanor changes when you get dressed and you put on like and leggings and fitness wear and zippy tops and different things like that were still included in it. But it's just a matter of getting up, because you just have more motivation just to move, you know, and just keep this right.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So before the challenge, before all this kicked off, you were like, it was a personal shopping experience, and then the events, we might dive into more, but like, how did the personal shopping experience work? So someone will book in with you, and then based on their body type and like...
My client, I'm not like a personal shopper, your average personal shopper. I'm probably one of very few that has my advanced diploma in image consultancy. So when you meet me, you have to fill out a 5-page questionnaire before you meet me.
Wow.
Because it is all about, there's 5 different things that you need to know about your client before you do anything. And that's color group, understanding the right colors that suit you, your body shape, your personality, lifestyle, and like, you know, your daily activity, like all of those things you have to understand your client before you set eyes on her. And then you can tweak it and analyze. But my clients go away with a 20-page questionnaire, or 20-page file after they filled out the questionnaire, and it's completely tailored to them. Completely, yeah.
Wow, that's good for people to know as well. If they go and like try someone different, you're like, oh well, like Gail is doing this, and
yeah,
wow.
It's kind of like more. I train them to do it themselves the next day. You know, and even if they don't buy a thing with me, I don't make any money on anything that they spend, but it's important that there's no point in meeting a personal stylist. They put together 5 or 6 outfits for you. Great, lovely, fantastic, yeah. Why does it suit me? You know, I don't know why that jacket suits me. I couldn't go out and do that myself tomorrow. I couldn't put an outfit myself tomorrow. Whereas when they go away from me, they know exactly what skirts, dress, trousers, jackets, blazers, everything suits them. They know exactly what they need to be wearing for their body shape, but also their personality. So it's about bringing out their personality. And then just, you know, in the morning time, I usually meet my clients in Whitewater at 10 o'clock in the morning, or Dundrum or wherever. And there's a real nervousness about people when they come up to me, and they're just a bit kind of, don't know what to expect. What in God's name is she going to put me into, like, you know? And they're really nervous. But by the end of the 2.5-hour session, their self-confidence is just boosted, because I focus on the good. It's all about conceal and reveal. It's all about concealing in the areas and showing them about optical illusions on clothes and how to do that. And if the areas that you're feeling shitty about are covered, and your best features, like your waist or something, is showing off, you're going to feel good about yourself. And people just think that because they're overweight or something, that they have to dress oversized or whatever. It's all about kind of understanding your body shape. And that's the most important thing to me. That's where I started last year, I started the masterclasses nationwide. And they're small, intimate groups of about, I would say probably, well, I've had to up them a little bit, but they were about 30 people. Now they've gone up to about 40 people. And it's a great way to kind of learn about your body shape. So it's a very inexpensive way as well to get a full 3-hour session with myself and a group of other ladies. My last one was in Limerick. So these ones have just been put on hold now for this month, unfortunately, or for the next few months, I'd say. But yeah, so it all comes hand in hand, but it is basically all about building women's self-confidence and self-esteem.
And the master classes, the first time you did that, were you nervous going into that?
I found them harder than performing in front of an audience of 300 women, because you've got a smaller group, you've all eyes on you, you can see all the eyes on you because you're in a conference room or whatever. And I was a nervous wreck. I really was. It's something that I'd done before on the big stage, but when you're actually, I find it so much harder in smaller groups. I really do. I suppose there's more interaction, you know, but then as they went on, I just found them a lot more interactive. It was great to be able to have the other women interact with each other and everybody tell their stories and things like that. And, you know, they were just amazed about the different types of clothing that they can wear to make themselves feel better. And in my shows, it's more like a girls' night out. Like there's goodie bags, there's Prosecco, there's drinks, there's like music. It's just the ultimate girls' night out. But my master classes are like literally the classroom. You're back in the classroom. But no, they're fantastic. I'll never give them up, ever. The shows are hard work, very, very hard work. There's months and months and months of work that has to go into them, because I have different guests on the stage, and there's pop-up shops, and there's fashion shows, and there's different boutiques involved in the fashion shows, and it's about putting together different looks. And I don't just run a boutique and say, right, you just put whatever you want onto my catwalk. I have to have full control of that. And what I do is I allocate a theme to my fashion shows. So for instance, there might be desk to date looks. So that boutique has to create those different looks for that particular topic. So it just helps women then, and it makes it really simple then when they're looking at stuff on the stage going, God, that's a really clever idea for work to desk to date or whatever, or desk to, or car to bar or whatever. Like it just makes it really, really simple for people. I even do pitch side mommies, you know, I'm really practical, really, really practical.
I think that speaks more to what you said about seeing yourself as the brand and not just working with anyone or letting them do whatever they want. The fact that you tell people, even brands that come into the shows, like they're representing you almost.
Yes.
So like you have to be okay with what they put out there.
Yeah. Oh, they're only too delighted as well. A lot of the boutiques that I would have involved in my shows, I've worked with in the past as well. And I would trust a lot of their clothing, and I would know a lot of the brands that they would stock. And I would trust that brand, as in it's sustainable. And I'm not talking about the environment. You could go down all that route about fast fashion and all that sort of thing. But when it comes to sustainability, I speak about the wash machine. I speak about basically if you put a jumper into the wash machine on day one, it should come out the same way after 20 washes. So I speak about fabric content and what to look out for in different contents of ingredients to make your wardrobe last. And it doesn't have to be designer, and it doesn't have to cost the earth. It really doesn't.
So what came first, the masterclass or the shows?
The shows.
The shows, okay.
Yeah, I did a show for charity for Women's Aid back in 2017, and it was a huge success, and it was a sellout show in the Osprey Hotel. So I decided to go and do one myself and see how I could do it. I had a huge amount of support for the charity one, and I kind of said, right, okay, can I do this? And it was a big undertaking, but we sold out our tickets within a week and a half, and exactly the same one I tried to do one charity, one of my own, one charity, one of my own. And my last charity one was for the National Council for the Blind, which is also a sold out gig, and we raised €15,500 for that night. So the next one, which is the West Grove, which is my show, and it's a huge amount of work. Like it really is, because it's just me. I'm on my own. I'm just the only person here. It's me that's answering all of your messages, and it's just me. I have a couple of backstage managers. My next door neighbor is actually one, Claire. She's next door, and she's fantastic. She really is. She's brains to burn, that girl. But she's just started her own new little business now as well. So like she's a busy girl too, you know. And then one of my best friends, Debbie, she's also my backstage manager as well. So it's I have a good team. I have a really, really good team. Yeah, a good team. You're only as good as the team behind you, you know.
That's good. You have people around you that you trust.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. So you have another challenge coming up, is that right?
I started another challenge last week. Not as many people have taken part because it's quite a tricky one, and you do need a little bit of time to do it. But I think if you've done it once, it's really going to help you going forward. Forget about quarantine. I think going forward, it will really help you from a capsule wardrobe point of view. And trying to put together 30 pieces from your wardrobe. And the challenge is when you put the 30 pieces, which includes accessories and shoes as well, which is a tough one for women, I can tell you. And you are only allowed to use 30 pieces. Those 30 pieces, you have to mix and match those 30 pieces. So it is a great challenge, especially because this one is quite easy because it's all casual, you know. But yeah, so it is very good. They're sending me photographs of their rails and their clothes laid out on their bed and all that sort of thing. So people are really embracing it. Yeah. Cool.
And like the challenges, you think is something you want to continue to do moving forward?
Yeah, I think next week what we might do is we might do a wardrobe detox challenge.
Okay.
And that's not public knowledge. Oh, geez, I should have probably said that out loud.
That's an exclusive.
I haven't even done any research on it as such yet. I haven't really but I wrote an article on my website about 2 years ago about how to do a practical wardrobe detox. So basically not when I go in and I strip your wardrobe and I go to do a wardrobe detox. It's literally how to do it yourself if you're a busy woman with young children, or you're a career woman and you just don't have time in the evenings or whatever. So it's very real. That actually made the newspaper as well, actually, that article. So it's I'm gonna show people how to do it and how to do it very easily. But there'll be a challenge a day. So we'll probably do our scarf drawer one day, or you know, I'll keep it really simple so that it's manageable for people, you know.
I'm gonna tag my girlfriend in that challenge.
Yeah.
I hope she's not watching.
Yeah, no,
cool.
It's just the sense of satisfaction. It really is, because your wardrobe has to be for the here and now. It has to, everything in your wardrobe should fit you. You shouldn't be looking at stuff that's too small for you. It'll only bring your demeanor down a little bit, and you say, oh, I will get into it. Just eliminate it for the time being. I'm not saying get rid of it, but don't be looking at it every day and depressing yourself. And you'd be very much about that. Like, you know, you're such a realist when it comes to, you know, fitness and, you know, real life and, you know, indulging, but, you know, trying to keep a happy medium. And it's just so important because it's real life, you know, we all have the temptations there. I know yours are jellies. Mine's wine.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. The more people I work with, the more I realize, like you were saying, that like the mindset is just the biggest barrier to not just weight loss or health or anything like that, fitness. Like it's big time all in your head.
It is. And there's one thing that you always say, it's about routine and it's about consistency. And that's it. I lost 3 stone 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago. Jesus, 4 years ago now. And where is the time going? And it was all about consistency, you know, and it was always just being regimental with yourself and writing everything down. Journal was my best friend. It really was, just writing everything down. And then you're a little bit more, you think twice about putting that second biscuit into your mouth or whatever. And it worked. It worked. I lost 3 stone within 8 months. So it did work. It did work. And I've kept it off, well, to a point. I've put on probably a stone since. And I know I was meant to be doing my workouts. And I have been doing them. I haven't been advertising it that I'm doing them, but I am doing them. But I'm in big trouble with my tennis elbow.
I was going to say, how's your elbow?
It's not good, to a point where I can't pull a plug out of the wall. So I might have to get cortisone injections. I think I'm in trouble with it. Yeah. And it's been off work now for over a month. And it's still no let up. So I can't use my brush and pan, which is weird. So whatever way the hand kind of angles itself, but it's particular, and it's my right hand, you know, so it's probably, I've been wearing a strap, but it's not really helping. So I haven't done any of the weights on that arm at all. But I have been doing everything else. And Etna, the Pilates teacher, Etna, she actually sent me a little video for myself. So she knows I love the ring, and she did a little video for me just to thank me for doing the challenge with her last week, because it kept her head right. So I'm amazed at how many people's heads, you've really helped. You have no idea how much, and the messages I was getting, Matty, it was just unbelievable. Like, people are just so scared, and the news is scaring everybody, and it's worrying times. But I think there's something bigger than the actual virus, you know, and that is our businesses. And it's really, really scary of how many of us are out of work, and like our little business is going to be able to survive this. And it is really, really worrying when you've got a house and you've got a mortgage and you're a single mammy, and it's all of these big challenges, and the gas and electricity bill are still coming in. But it's just trying to keep a more positive focus, and just, if I start thinking about the bigger picture, I'm goosed. Absolutely. Your mind starts working overtime, and women do tend to have a tendency to dissect things and to overthink and overanalyze things, and I am so bad at that. I overanalyze everything. But yeah, I've good days.
I'm not agreeing with that, because I'll be lynched on here.
I hope she's watching. What's her
name? I think like you were saying about your followers and about them trusting you and stuff like that. The fact that you're even speaking about this stuff, and like you were saying about businesses struggling. Like, I think the people like yourself who are genuinely out to help people and always put out helpful content for free, and like are responding to messages yourself, like there's no bots or there's no like automation or anything, it's all you. I think that will 100% stand to you, and hopefully to me, in like the long run, when all this kind of, whatever happens with all this, I think the people who are genuinely out to help people will be fine.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do hope so.
Yeah.
We have to try, just not let this beat us. Never mind the virus and getting the virus. We just have to make sure that we're okay after this, you know.
Yeah.
My own smear test was cancelled last week. Like, that's not good. That's not good at all. Like, there's hundreds of women out there that need to make sure that we're keeping on top of everything else, and that everybody else's health is kept right, and all of a sudden everything else is just being put on hold, which is absolutely scandalous. Like, it's amazing. So I just hope there's not bigger issues after this. Really do hope so. But like I said, you need to try blinker it out a little bit and try focus on the positives as much as possible, you know.
Yeah, like I've said that too, like on social media, but to a lot of my clients, like, check the news from an official source once a day, and then the rest of the time just try fill yourself with like the quarantine challenge or positive stuff that's gonna help you stay focused.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please God.
So Gail, what does the future hold for Gails Rails? Definitely your event is rescheduled to November anyway, so that's coming up. Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a couple of things in the pipeline. I'm working so hard to try achieve something by the end of the year. And Gails Rails is in the middle of writing her own book.
Wow. Cool.
Yes.
Is that an exclusive? Have you said that anywhere?
No.
Oh, cool.
No. It was started in January, and I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm plucking away at it. It's not something that I'm rushing. But I have a very good story to tell, and it's also going to be just kind of it's going to be a help book for women, as well as a fashion referral book. It's just going to be also a guidance book from a self-esteem building point of view as well. So, yeah, that's the first time I've ever said.
I think that might be the first fashion book I ever read.
My own partner William didn't even know that up until a few weeks ago. So,
oh wow,
yeah, I've been really keeping it close to my chest. But yeah, it's good.
Cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's extremely exciting. Yes, but I do have a very good, strong partner behind me who is a serious builder, and he supports me 120%, and he's just my rock. He really is. I'm being blessed, really, really blessed. Oh, look forward to the book. I'm reading the comments here.
Yeah, it's out now.
Don't tell anyone. I haven't found an editor yet. Anybody out there know an editor, please? Dyslexia is not a good thing to have if you're trying to write a book, I can tell you. Yes, that's the secret plan that's happening at the moment. And now that I've said it out loud, I may get cracking on it.
Yeah, that's it. So that and the wardrobe detox, these are two exclusives we had.
Two exclusives you're getting, yeah.
There you go.
Two exclusives you're getting. So the girls that took part in the challenge last week, I think they'll find this one. Maybe I jumped into the whole capsule wardrobe thing. They kind of went, oh my God, what? No. But maybe the detox is going to help people, and maybe we might go back then to the capsule wardrobe after, when things are a little bit clearer and it's more transparent. Yeah.
Lots of comments here, Gail. Look forward to the book. Yeah,
I know. I'm not reading them all. I didn't think I could read the comments. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm blown away by, like I said, all those people that are commenting there. They're just fantastic. Without them, they keep me going, they keep me going. And there's days and weeks that I suffer terrible with anxiety and I get terrible overwhelmed. But like us all, do you know what I mean? I think everybody has anxiety to a certain point. And I suppose an awful lot of people have anxiety right now. Just, if I can give anybody a bit of advice, is just don't overthink. Don't be thinking about the worst. Don't be scared. And just get up, get dressed, and don't give up. Don't give up.
Gail, thank you very much for your time. We're not going to top that, so we're going to stop there. Thank you for the exclusives, and just thank you for everything you do, for all the positivity you put out there.
Here, right back at you. Do you know what I mean? You give back so much, and the simple routines, and you keep it real, and that's the most important thing. Just keep it real. Keep it real.
Thank you very much.
All right, pal. And today's Tuesday, so tomorrow's Workout Wednesday, right?
Workout Wednesday.
Back on to it tomorrow, I promise.
Cool. Thanks, Gail. We'll talk to you soon.
Over and out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, guys, thank you very much for watching. Wow, what an amazing story, an amazing woman. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you're following Gail if you're not already. And we will talk to you guys soon. We've got another live coming up Thursday during the day this time. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks for watching.